welcome everybody. Episode
Easy.
223 TVI Podcast. Formerly Two Vegan Idiots. Still sort of Two Vegan Idiots, isn't it, man? People still refer to it as that. But
yeah.
We're back. We've got one tired member, one injured member today.
You broke your finger, did you?
Well, well, there's two chains of thought now going on the TVI.
Did you hurt your bum hole when you broke it?
But basically, it's so fucking embarrassing. So yeah, we were meant to record last night. We were both a little bit tired, but I basically fucked my finger up. So I was quite happy that I said, even though it's not like you need your finger to podcast.
No, exactly, man.
So I'm not a snooker player, but it just killed, man. Like, it's not bent or anything now. I don't know if you can see the bruising actually up on the thing. Maybe, I don't know. I'm putting it on the camera. It's just bruised down the back of my ring finger. But
how did you do it in a deck chair?
My man, it was almost like so on the WhatsApp group, I explained to people what had happened. They said, "How did you do it?" And when I even wrote the sentence, I was like, "Oh fuck, man, what am I doing?" So I was getting out of a low deck chair at a
as opposed to a high one.
Well, there's two. There's these ones that you use for like watching shows. Like they're super high. But a normal height deck chair is like a chair height. There's these ones that are about 4 inches off the floor, where it's basically just a backrest.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So it was an outdoor production of A Midsummer Night's Dream in the Melbourne Botanic Gardens.
And you're screaming.
And luckily it was just before the show started. I just went to go. I thought I'm going to go toilet quickly just before it starts. As I went to get up, my hand went between the two deck chairs, mine and Hannah's. And I just basically sort of bent it and put all my weight on my finger the wrong way, man. And it fucking killed.
Oh shit! And, did you yelp?
I think I don't feel I actually made an audible sound, but it was that thing where inside I was just like,
I hate that.
And then it was just throbbing, like, it was fine. It wasn't like I could focus on the show. It wasn't distracting, but I just had this constant numb pain for the whole evening. And today I strapped it up. And I sent a photo of it on our WhatsApp group because there's a couple of medical people in the TVI WhatsApp group.
They say it's got to come off.
But that's genuinely not. This isn't me saying this for any non-patrons, normal listeners. Just your regular run-of-the-mill TVI listener. But the patron WhatsApp group, which is even a spin-off of the Patreon. You know what I mean? It's its own entity. That it does definitely have benefits having, like, I don't know how many 120 people whatever in a WhatsApp group, because there are people that cover every walk of life. So when I realised if I just put a photo of it and say what happened, there's like 2 or 3 medical people in there, and I got different feedback. It's well good, actually. I know normally you just ask them for money and food, but
food and hugs. Can you just put a blanket around me and tell me it's going to be all right?
sleep on your sofa for a couple of weeks. I'll sort you out after.
I'm in town, like gigging, Just got all of my stuff.
That's when they go to work and you're just sat on their sofa in your dressing gown watching breakfast TV in their shreddies.
Asking them to keep it down. Asking them if they can put the kids in the other room until the film finishes.
No, but yeah, it was. What I'm saying is there's loads of fun. It's obviously just quite a funny chat group, but yeah, the benefits. I put it out there, and got a couple of good little sort of bits of advice. I haven't been to the doctors yet. One person did say you should go and get an X-ray just in case there's any serious damage. Because
it might grow deformed,
Yeah, but because it's not bent, I don't think I've broken it. I think worst case scenario, it's a crack or and it could also be ligament damage, which is what one person said.
Can you move it? Yeah,
I can move it now, but it's still really stiff. Like when I bend it, it hurts. But it's pretty swollen. But one person said
probably nothing. You pussy. Oh, you've done nothing to it. What the doctor said? No, there's nothing there.
It's literally just a normal finger. What are you talking about? But it is. I might go to. If it's still really sore tomorrow, I think I will go to the doctors. But But other than that, Midsummer Night's
funny
Dream
when you
was
really
very
hurt
good.
yourself, like, and you've got was Twyla there?
No, it was just me and Hannah.
Because I've hurt myself. Like, I remember Ren was on my shoulders once. She was about 2, and I'm walking. I forget what I trod on, but it fucking hell. But she's got no concept. She's like, I want to go with it because she's telling me where to go, and she's still having a go at me. And my foot, like, I don't know what I trod on, man, but it was fucking killing. I stubbed my toe or something.
I've had it with Twyla where we're jumping around playing, and she jumps on me and full weight lands on my bollocks, and I'm just writhing around in pain, and she just wants to keep jumping in it, and you
you
can't explain to a 3.5-year-old that you've just literally stamped on my bollocks. Oh man, but anyway, so I didn't go to the doctor's today, strapped it up, and then I went to the gym this morning. I didn't do anything that involved my hands. But and then I went in the afternoon to one of them bounce, what are they called?
Trampoline parks.
Oh, mate, I took Twyla. Me and my brother-in-law took Twyla to one. And fucking hell, it's fun.
That's the most energy you can expend in your life is at a trampoline park.
We were both so sweaty and tired. Like, Twyla's obviously jumping around for 2 hours. Didn't even, just and me and my brother-in-law were just in pieces, man. Like, I don't think I've sweat that much outside of like a sauna in memory. Jesus, man.
I don't know why. You'd think as you're just bouncing, gravity's taking care of it, but it's every muscle in your body, I think.
That's what it is. It's muscle. Like, my back's a bit sore, even though I didn't do anything. At no point did I fall in any way that was strenuous on my back. It's just pure, constant bouncing. We kept going on the ones, the one where you run, there's a big trampoline, and then you jump into a massive like an airbag. Is there one of them ones you've been to?
I have.
That's fun, man.
I was doing that once. I didn't know there was a competition on, but I'm the only adult doing it. Like, so I won the competition. I was like Rodney off Only Fools and Horses, when they went on holiday. But and Ren was like, but they did my name and that over the big tannoy in the O2 trampoline park. And I won like a cake or something.
That's funny.
Did the furthest jump out of like 7 4-year-olds.
3 times taller than them all. Oh man. But it is well fun. There's also
one though, innit?
There was climbing walls at this one.
I mean, they're fucking hard work as well. Like, there's such good exercise, man.
Yeah, there were
it's
proper
like doing pull-ups each fucking time. Grip
but these ones, they were high enough that you had to have the zip line, not the wire, the cable. You could locked into the cable and wear a harness. And I said, like, because I couldn't go on it because of my hand, but my brother-in-law was going on it, and I said to the guy, can she go on it? About Twyla being 3.5. They're literally just as high as they're about 30 foot tall. And he went, she can go on it. And so he just went and got a little harness, and we strapped Twyla up, and she just started climbing up it.
She can go on it if you don't care about her.
If you don't mind losing her,
She doesn't know how dangerous it is. Sure.
She didn't go too high though. You could tell once she got like above the point where I was but just below her. You could tell,
but she's got the safety line there. It's fine, isn't it?
Yeah. I was totally happy with it, but I was quite surprised.
We go to one around the corner. I do enjoy it, man.
Mm. Yeah, it's really fun. But I had strapped up my hand so tight, man. Because I was like, if I fall on my hand now, that's going to be so much agony. It's like when I broke my arm.
You'd probably cry.
When I broke my arm snowboarding. And I could feel that I'd fucked it. I was like, in my head, I was like, I've either sprained my wrist or I've broken my wrist. And rather than just go and get on a ski lift down, I was like, I'll just snowboard really gently down. But obviously my head was all fucked because I was like in pain. I started snowboarding down, and about 3 minutes later, I just slipped on some ice and went down on my same wrist. I remember just lying in the snow for about 10 minutes, just like, oh no,
that's so horrible, hurting an already painful part.
Yeah, it was brutal, but that's what I was paranoid today, so I strapped it up. But yes. Anyway, what's been going on? You've been not sleeping.
Well, the night before last, I didn't sleep one wink.
That is,
Like,
I mean, that is proper.
not 1 second.
That's like proper insomnia. That is. That's like actual clinical insomnia.
Definitely. And I know why the pattern seems to be when I'm scrolling through, you know, them quick videos like TikTok or Insta Reels, like just watching exercise stuff, prank, everything's changing. And I'm just, every time I do that, I don't sleep the whole night. So I'm not going to do that again.
You got to just not. I mean, that's weirdly one thing. I'm very lucky. I don't ever watch those. Never watch Reels. I never watch TikTok.
They really like appeal to my ADHD, I think, because it's just like bam, bam, bam. It's not like such short form. You know what I mean?
Well, weirdly, I could do that on Twitter. I can sometimes find myself scrolling Twitter because I find little jokes and there's little bits of news and there's little like links to articles and stuff. Like there's something I can do it on Twitter, and it annoys me that I can get caught on Twitter doing it. Like I fucking hate it.
I do the videos on Twitter, like fuck around, find out page. I like watching. It's people messing around and getting injured. I don't know why.
It must be a mental thing of like I prefer. Like I don't like looking at the videos. Like I've got no desire to look at videos. That's why I never watch YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I much prefer just having little word things happening. I don't know what it is.
It's more beneficial to like words, I guess, isn't it? Because you're not the lights and all that, and staring at a screen. I don't know.
But yeah, you've got to don't be watching videos.
I need to learn to read.
Yeah.
Is that what those little drawings are? They words? I thought it was Chinese.
Those tiny little lines.
I thought they were little drawings of stuff. A little table.
Oh man! But
little stick drawings.
That being said, I've recently been watching some series of stuff, and I have found myself watching an episode before sleep, which is I don't love doing, but it's just I love the show so much. I'm watching. Have you watched Slow Horses? Have you heard of Slow Horses?
I've heard of it. Is that Julia Roberts?
No, man, it's Gary Oldman. And it's
I've heard of it. Yeah,
it's an English spy drama, but it's very British, very like sort of. It's that really good British spy thing where it's very normal. Like everyone's just a normal person, but they just happen to be fucking, people that are capable of murder and sort of spy shit.
I like Gary Oldman. Sometimes they get on my nerves, actors, a little bit. Like I don't know, just.
What?
I don't know. Like he was obviously a good actor. Like in True Romance, he was great, wasn't he? But I mean,
he's in everything. I think
he was either great or like, all right, mate. Anyone could do that. But like, do you know what I mean? I started to think like they're the gods, aren't they? Everyone sees them as like they're on, and like I don't know. Like when they're sitting a round table discussion, have you seen those things?
No. But I mean,
like when actors are talking to actors.
No, I haven't seen any, but I know what you mean. Like I've heard actors in interviews talk about
self-flagellating. You know what I mean? And like, it's like, all right, mate. But they're actually not even saying anything. It's just that their delivery is so perfect.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I also have so much respect for acting as a skill,
Some of them I do. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I really liked. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that level, I think I've got so much respect for them. They can be as pretentious as they want. Say what they want, man. I'm into it. Do you know what I mean? I've sort of got
I think in terms of their being like they can just be an empty vessel, can't they, for the script? But someone was saying they was on a set. I forget who said it, and. Like they were watching an act, like they're an actor, but they weren't like they were out of their depth. They were watching these brilliant actors on set, and the actor was like delivering this profound, amazing monologue, and it was really moving to the other guy watching on set. And he spoke to the actor after. He said that was so touching. The actor went, "Yeah, was it? Look, like he was just a bit thick, but he could just." Yeah, what was it? Yeah, what time's lunch? You know what I mean? Like, that's nice shoes.
You don't think about that. You assume they're going to be
like they just
totally
can just.
In tune,
it's like shapeshifters, aren't they? They can just turn off their whole personality and just deliver with 100% conviction.
Oh man, like
when
watching
most normal people are like you'd be in your head a little bit, wouldn't you?
That's
you know what I mean? There's something wrong with them.
Getting over that self-consciousness is the biggest hurdle for most people with any level of acting.
That's what it is. 99%. Well, I'd even say it's 100% confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, then there's the people. Yeah, I think you've got to be able to get over that self-consciousness, and once you can, you've got to then. There are people that are just talented, but there are people that just work so hard at it they just become amazing. But
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
but
sure that
sort of
like Daniel Day-Lewis when they're the guy in there. Like he was really drunk in this part. Like looking around. You're like, wow, he's drunk at work. What a fucking god. You know what I mean? I'm rating the fucking cameraman on. No, they are. Daniel Day-Lewis actually went to a school in Charlton, weirdly.
Did he?
Yeah, he went to like a normal. My children's mum's dad was in his class.
Yeah.
But it's a really rough school he went to. But I think his family put him in like a rougher school to kind of give him some experience in that because his dad was like a poet laureate or something. And
this is rude, man.
I know. How patronising is that?
If I had a posh rich dad and he put me in a shit school, I'd be fucking livid, man.
But how insulting is that to the other kids?
I know.
We want him to mingle with you lot.
Yeah, he just wanted me to mix with the slugs, man, just to get
the slugs of society. No, Daddy, please! Papa, please! Get in there. And it's like that bar in Star Wars.
Oh, man. Anyway, let's have a look at some questions.
I do like actors. I'll just go for a phase, I think, where I keep those round table discussions keep popping up and
stop watching them. I
know.
The problem isn't the actors. The problem is the shit you're watching, mate.
I know.
Let's have a look at some questions from yesterday. We got Josh had a question. He says, I was listening to the Have a Word pod, and they had a section on men's play, i.e. childish things men do when they're in their own little world. Is there any times you both find yourself
he should have been listening to other pods. Can we take him off the Patreon list?
Yeah, I've just actually removed him from the page. He's blocked. But whenever I use a trolley...
Next question.
He says, whenever I use a trolley...
Shout out Have a Word.
On a big shop, I can't help but whip 360s around the gaff. So I suppose what he means is like little... Like I actually do that. I 100% do the trolley thing, especially when I'm with Twyla.
Oh, I do that, yeah.
If Twyla's sitting in the trolley, man, I'm zinging it. It's doing loads of spins and like I'm acting like a
I used to push it and say "see you later" to Red and walk the other way.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I mean, I'm pretty childish. Even on my own, I just mess around and do silly shit.
I mean, I am, yeah.
So I think, I wouldn't even. There's too many to even think. Like little voices. I'm always doing dumb little voices around the house and just talking shit.
I can dance and stuff as well sometimes.
Sometimes,
I don't know if that's childish or retarded.
I just
can't
do
say
this.
That word anymore, sorry.
You can't actually, can you? I've never heard anyone say it in it's American, isn't it? It's an Americanism.
Yeah, I keep hearing it lately on like
in England. On your
public,
videos,
like
mate.
Online, yeah.
Yeah, also on your
it's the
videos.
type of porn I watch.
God. What are you saying? What are you whispering?
I don't know. Sometimes God. I do like mutter under my breath when I'm out though. Like I just amuse myself, or like I don't know. It's almost like a bit Tourette-y, but it's just how I get through life. I think.
Yeah.
I'll just say, "Shut your fucking mouth."
Yeah.
Like to myself, and I'm going, "Oh, really? Wow, fuck off! Just shut up." No way. It's crazy.
Let's see what he's got. This question from Jason. It's a 2-part question. It's a big old one, actually. Would you rather have a rewind button that allowed you to keep redoing events in life until you're happy with them, or a fast forward button so you could skip by anything you didn't want to deal with and not look back?
This is an obvious one. A rewind button.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, because otherwise you're losing life or you're gaining life.
I mean, I wouldn't want either of them, if I'm honest. I'm quite happy living just normally.
I mean, I'd love to have a rewind button But it'd be like one of them films that ends up like just being the worst thing that you could
Exactly,
do. You know
of
what I
course.
mean?
That's what I mean. I'm not. I get, for the sake of the question, if I had to choose one of those, I'd go rewind. Again, it's purely for time reasons. I don't want to just fast forward
I'm
bits of
quite a
life out.
nostalgic person, though. I do like. I can get. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'd like to have a rewind button. I think, like just to
Really?
go back and do things.
What would you
You
change?
know, you could get more work done, couldn't you?
You wouldn't know, because you're not going to change who you are just because you can go back in time. You'd go back and just watch more TikToks. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Go
This is
back
the
and
thing.
get the lottery numbers. Start betting.
But I don't think you can use it for that. This is about. I think this is purely about your own
I'd go
decisions.
back to before, like the Beatles and that, and just write all their songs.
I think they made a film about that, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
No, but
copied a
I
film.
think it's purely about your decision making. Like, I don't think you can do that. The question isn't a time machine. It's about, you can only change things that you've done.
Yeah,
And I just think I'm not into that idea. I think that's I'm not one of these nutters that's like, I've got no regrets. Them people. So like, I do think you're allowed regrets and to think I fucked things up, but I also don't. I think it's
but learn
I think it's
and move
foolish
forward.
to try and think, I wish I could change it, because I think actually, unless, I suppose it's about where you're at. If your life is in total shit, you're living in the gutters, man, and like, then I can imagine you thinking I would like to change stuff. But if you did shit, you had some tough times, but life's all right, I think just take that as the win, man. You know what I mean? You got out of it.
Yeah.
That's my...
You could go back and see people again who we've lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sort their will out and then fast forward.
We might see people you're glad you don't see anymore as well, and that would be bad. So
yeah,
I think just leave things as they are is my thoughts on this. And I managed, there was like 3-part question to this. So this one is about, what if you go back to the end of your school days, what advice would you offer to your younger selves?
After school? So when you've left school?
If you did go back, I suppose
I would have done things sooner.
As you became an adult, what would be your...
I would have started comedy quickly.
Julian.
I would have, because what I did at that age, I just did what my peers were doing, went into what you kind of follow you think that's your limit, you know what I mean? Not that they did, you know what I mean, like building site, and it just wasn't for me, really.
Yeah.
And I did that kind of labouring jobs a lot. I think that's good for you, though, in a lot of ways as well. And, I mean, there's obviously a successful route as well. I would have just got into, I think I would have just done what I did in my 30s, in my teens instead.
I agree. I think I wish I'd started comedy at like 17, 18, like some people. I still started relatively young in other comparisons.
It seemed really easy back then as well at that kind of time.
There's
about 4 comics in the country, all rubbish. Not really, there was a lot of good, but like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's do this one. This is fun. What level of crime would you refuse to offer any assistance to a loved one, child, partner, especially? All right, so if one of your children or a partner, whatever, asks you to get involved in a crime with them, what's the level of crime where you'd be like, I can't have any part of this?
I mean, I'd talk them out of it, any crime I get. Although I did encourage a crime the other day, which I don't know. I forgot about that.
What? Without indicting anyone or getting yourself in trouble. It
wasn't bad. We were at a Ninja Warrior and they wanted an ice lolly.
And I went over to teeth it.
And the cafe had shut. You know when the cafe's closed, but the freezer's there.
Yeah,
and we could see where this is going. Yeah, and I kept a watch out while
they jumped over
my
and
10-year-old stabbed the worker 14 times in the chest. Just hacked at their heart with a letter opener. Wiped it and left it, and we drove. No, and then she took a Twister lolly out of the freezer, but I said, go and do it quickly then.
Yeah.
and she did it too coolly as well. She did it very
Oh,
well, and I'm
really?
like, yeah. I said to her, "Don't do that again, will you?" Like, and I had to talk to her afterwards, even though I just encouraged her.
Even though it was your idea.
I don't know if I'm like a bad. Sometimes I feel like a good dad, and like then I'm like, am I like bad? Like she. Like I'm taking her Ren to Paris for Valentine's.
Oh yeah, I remember you said
on
we
Tuesday.
talked about this. Yeah. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about
and
this.
it's such a lovely thing to do. Like the memories, we'll have an amazing time, like just one-on-one in Paris and going out for them. She's so excited about it, but I don't know. I mean, that's a good thing, isn't it? I don't know why I feel like
that's a lovely thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it ain't cheap. Like.
No.
A Valentine's Day
Yeah.
in Paris. So it's cost me like a bit of an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But I'm just shaking that off, man. It's just, you can't, you know what I mean? It's just nice memories, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's a nice thing to do.
I'm really looking forward to it. I just feel like I spoil her. Like I do everything she says, basically.
Yeah. But there is part, I mean, that's not a bad thing, really, though, is it? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like there are times you know, and again, not to be all fucking, wanky about it, but like, when they're young, you've got to bank all the time you can with them because they're gonna.
That's it as well.
They're gonna get to an age when they're like they just fuck you off and want to go and do their own thing, and
she's gonna be the one looking after me when I'm old. So it's like she's the most kind of empathetic, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
but no, it is that, I do think you have got
reasons.
a sort of bank, like, you know what I mean? Like my parents, my dad, I suppose, like I don't fucking know. He spoke to him until I was about 15. I mean, you just didn't spend any time together one-on-one or anything like that. So
when I was 16, I went to Australia to live with my dad for 8 months, and it was, I got trapped there, didn't I? I got a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
I was getting arrested and in trouble in England. So my mum said, go to Australia for 3 weeks. I went there on a one-way ticket because I had an Aussie passport. And then they said, oh, yeah, this is where you live now. So it kind of wasn't it's a very difficult time being trapped there. And I had to work. And me and my dad were in the same room. He thought I was bringing money with me. And I had a tenner in my pocket. He was like, is this all she give you? I was like, yeah. We ended up at like the soup kitchen in Sydney.
Oh, man. We've got to spend some quality time together.
Yeah, but it was. I did have a one-on. I did get to know him.
Yeah.
When I was a bit old, he was always a bit of an ogre to me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so I got that one-on-one, and he was a funny guy, and he was a fucked up guy. Like,
That's
you know
actually
what I mean?
weirdly, as much as I said like about not knowing my dad till my teens, it was earlier. Me and my dad lived together actually, but when I was 12, my parents split up for a year.
As a couple.
Yeah, basically, because he couldn't do fucking anything around the house. Like, basically, my parents split up for a year when I was 12, and my brother stayed living with my mum, and then me and my dad, I moved in with my dad back into the council flat in Tooting, and we just had this sort of 9-month period where it was just me and my dad living together.
Yeah,
and like it was the first time we've ever spent genuine, like, just me and him together, and like. He didn't know how to do anything. Like, he couldn't cook, couldn't clean. Like, he was just like, he was a bit of like, at a point he'd sort of gone through quite a bad period of drinking and stuff. He was just getting over that and sorting himself out a bit, and he was on the dole. But we had this weirdly looking back now, I think it was quite a fun 9 months of like, I felt quite independent suddenly, just me and my dad in this sort of like, couple of geezers living in a house, even though I was just 12.
Yeah.
There was an element of freedom to it.
Time.
Well, no, because like he wouldn't have known, he didn't have a clue what I was up to when I was out and about and, at school or nothing like that. So I felt very free at that period. It felt like I was just,
I got a lot from it as well. Like, I definitely, after Australia, I came back to England because I worked in McDonald's. Then I was outside the shops on the microphone, which was terrifying. Like,
yeah.
But I just had to I tried to stow away on a boat from Sydney. I planned a robbery. Like, I had a balaclava and a knife and that hidden in the
oh god!
I did actually do I did a little couple of stupid things, and like I was absolutely desperate to come back to England. You know what I mean? And I ended up I worked outside a shop on a microphone, which I wasn't. I was so introverted, and I just forced myself, and I grew up a lot there. And when I came back, I was different. It did help me a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm great. I had my 17th birthday there, so I was like,
so 16 when you went.
16. But even my birthday there, like the no presents. My dad was, he said, "Oh, it's your birthday today, isn't it?" And he was shaving, and he cleaned his shaving brush and gave me the brush.
Steptoe and Son or something.
Yeah. We used to watch Steptoe and Son as well. It reminded me a bit of that. Like,
yeah, man.
We used to go, "Harold," like joking and that. He was a funny guy though. When he was on form, he was really funny. But when he was on his wobbles, it was just unbearable, man. I mean, I told him my PIN number. I don't know why on my bank, and then my bank's completely wiped out the next day.
Oh God.
It was brutal, it was so crazy. Or what was it? He was such a con man. He was funny. But we went into like the war veterans meeting he had because he was in the army.
Yeah.
And we went in there. He was only in the army 2 weeks, and the war ended. And he was old when he had me. He was like 50 when I was born. And he's sitting in the meeting, and he's trying to get a pension, war pension, and he's crying and talking about the war and like he lost friends and the beaches at Normandy and Dunkirk and He was born in 1927, and everyone knows my age now. Can we cut that? But then and then we come out of there, and it was like, the end of Usual Suspects. He was just such a con man.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
Yeah, it's fucked, man, isn't it? But it's quite, it teaches you stuff, man. Like, sort of my dad was always just getting like parking tickets and fines and like speeding tickets, and like he just wouldn't let my mum find out about them, so I always had to pay them. Like he'd always just be like, "I can't pay for this, but your mum will know." So he'd be like, "This was when I was about 15. I'd have to pay it from my bloody Maestro card." And like, but then he'd be like, "I'll pay you back," and just wouldn't pay me back. So it was like, just about once every sort of month, I'd basically end up fucking getting done for like 50 quid by my own dad. Because he was such a fucking...
I used to have to hide my piggy banks when I was the NatWest piggy banks. I used to have to hide them because my dad would steal. Like,
it just next level.
It was just in his It was just in his nature. Like, he would just steal. Like he was friends with this. He had a lot of friends in high places. Like weird. It was a weird kind of like. It's still a fiver, and then he'd be conning someone for like 50 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In these meetings, and we were at this millionaire's house in Sydney, like this mansion. It was an old friend of his, this woman, and he said to me, when I go in the other room, go down her purse.
Oh my God.
I said to him, no way. I was like, no way am I doing that.
Yeah.
What? Like, and I was 16, and I weren't like I was a delinquent man, but I just couldn't do. I weren't doing shit like that. You know what I mean? I was I did crime for excitement and like fun and getting chases and like. I was like, no way am I stealing off.
All right, that's good stuff.
She was like a film producer, that woman. She produced that My Brilliant Career. Do you remember that Aussie film in the 80s?
Don't know.
It was a big film at the time.
I don't think I've seen it. All right, let's do another question. Let's change up. Let's change up the topic. This is from Mike. He says, "Make underwear the burning issue." Oh, make underwear the burning issues of. Don't know what that means, but anyway, number one. Do you prefer a looser boxer or a more supportive trunk, or even Y fronts?
I like a supportive trunk, actually. Well, I've bought some that are a bit too tight. Yeah, I went for too tiny.
It fucks you up.
It's just a bit uncomfortable, isn't it? Especially I've started to sleep in pajamas now, which is way more comfortable.
It's not
just the
gross,
bottoms,
man.
though.
Nah,
pajama bottoms?
I'm just a boxer short sleeper, man. Like I miss the days before we had a daughter. I miss the days I used to sleep naked exclusively. And
Yeah, yeah.
the fact that now I've got a child, bloody hell,
On the
mate.
streets.
But basically, now having a child, I can't just walk around with my knob out. So,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
really, that's one of the
Got to put
few
some
things.
lingerie on.
But that is like genuinely one of the only things I miss from not having a child. Like a lot of people miss their freedom and all that. I just miss not being able to sleep fully naked.
I don't feel comfortable sleeping naked for some reason. I have done, not many times, a handful of times, but like.
Once I got into it, like it wasn't a lifelong thing. I didn't get into it probably till I was like 30 or something. But once I started it, I was like, I'm never going back. And then I've had to sort of park it until Twyla is old enough to know not to come into the room.
To know what a boner looks like.
But in terms of the boxer shorts, they always say that it's bad for you to wear tight boxer shorts. You're meant to wear looser ones, right? So I did go out about maybe, I'm going to say a year ago, and I bought 6 pairs of loose boxer shorts, like proper loose ones, man. And I've actually recently binned them off, and I've gone back to just a sort of just a fitted jockey short.
An luminous thong.
Gone back to some chaps. But
where did you buy your boxers?
I'm almost 100% by Bonds, which is an Australian brand. So I stock up when I'm here, and I take them back to the UK. But they're really good quality. Like they're ones that I know loads of people that have bought them in Australia and they now order them internationally because they're so well made. They're fucking just good. They're made of good material. They're fitted nicely. They don't mess up. They don't lose their shape. They're consistent. They're obviously more expensive than a cheap one, but they're not. Like, you're not paying shitloads. But they'd be. I'd say you're paying the equivalent of probably 15, 20 quid a pair. So if you buy,
that ain't cheap for pants, is it?
It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. It's not like sort of crazy expensive. But yeah, if you're paying 15 quid for a pair, if you buy 10 pairs. But that sees you through for probably, a couple of years.
Yeah. That lasts me about a night, what I do.
The way you shit yourself.
The way I tear them off. When I'm angry. When I'm angry and horny. The horny Hulk. His pants just split at the sides.
All his other clothes are normal, but his pants are in pieces, mate. But yeah, it's one of them things, I've talked about this before about clothes. Like, there's certain things you can go a bit cheaper on, t-shirt, whatever. I reckon I can stretch to a sort of slightly cheaper t-shirt, but jeans and pants.
I like the fit of things more. Like, if something fits me, I don't like. Yeah, I mean, expensive things are. I mean, I can't argue that they are better quality. Like, I've got a couple of nice jeans now. Like, they're definitely better quality than a Primark pair. You can feel it. You know what I mean? It does feel good. But yeah, t-shirts I don't mind. Socks, man, I just Primark it.
I mean, socks again. I actually
5 pairs for £3.50.
Yeah, but again, it depends on what type of sock.
Sometimes when I don't do a wash, I go and buy another packet.
I do struggle, but I don't like Primark socks. I'm not buying expensive ones either, but just I
like the little ankle socks they do in it's just at the till, and I just get those. They just like, I don't know.
On the secondary part of this question about pants is what's with the demise of the fly-in pants?
What are flying pants?
The fly, as in like the sort of the gap to get your willy out in the pants.
Oh yeah, no one uses that though, do they?
Oh, well, this is the thing, no one
when
does.
When they're getting someone's dick out. Do you use that?
But I do see, like, I know what he means, like that. Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? But I think nowadays people do just go over the top, don't they?
Yeah, or out the side.
Yeah,
or pull them down to your ankles.
Yeah, that's what he does mention, actually.
There was always a kid in school, you go in the toilet in nursery or something, he had his trousers and pants down to his trainers.
Well, my mate Daniel used to do it for a laugh in pubs up until like 30.
Oh, that's so funny.
And he'd always do it. He'd go to if he knew that if I mentioned I was going to go toilet, he'd just go to the toilet straight away, and he'd do it knowing that I was going to walk in like a minute, and he'd just go and stand at the urinal with his trousers and pants around his ankles, knowing that I was going to come in the door and just crack up, man. He got me so many times. He used to always do it in Wetherspoons in Wimbledon. It was such a funny sight to see. But
don't you think supermarket toilets are like the worst maintained toilets?
Yeah.
Even like you could go in a Waitrose or M&S or like a better.
But there's always tissue.
You go in the toilet,
everywhere.
you're like, dude. Do you not think this needs to be maintained a bit?
And do you know what? I'm going to make there's probably could be a bit of judgment in this, what I'm about to say, but I think that's because they are a bit of a free for all. And like, I know if I'm out and I'm busting for a shit, like if I'm walking past a supermarket, I know that's where I'm going. Do you know what I mean? So I reckon they must get all the waifs and strays of people that just need to go and just know there's one in there. Do you know what I mean?
They're the worst toilets on the planet.
Like, it's not just Waitrose shoppers shitting in a Waitrose toilet, man. It is.
I suppose no one goes shop. Yeah, most people using it, I suppose, are popping in there, aren't they?
I reckon, damn, yeah,
just destroying it and leaving without buying any blueberries.
Yeah, I think. I agree. Though I think they're always bad. Like what other ones? Little service stations, like just a petrol garage. They're ones. A normal big service station.
That's beyond their call of duty to go and clean a toilet.
Yeah, but a big service stations toilets are always nice. They're kept well, man. But yeah, little petrol station ones are fucked.
Like they have the disabled toilet and they have a bell there. Have you know, they got the arm thing that a lot of people have pulled by mistake. But like, I'm thinking if you're working in a petrol station late at night, you're not, it's not. You're not enjoying it. You're half-heartedly doing your job, and then that bell goes. Are you going to rush in there and help?
You've got to, man. You've got to legally, haven't you?
Have you?
Well, what if it's somebody who's in a wheelchair who's got in there and
I know you'd have to. If you were the only one, you'd have to. But imagine that, opening that door, seeing that hell on earth. Someone with shit all over the wall.
Here we go. What's this question from Ed? What's the smallest audience you've ever played to? How do you change the dynamic, or do you just bail? And then they said, he said he saw Inda Manocha. That's a blast from the past.
I remember Inda, yeah.
Lovely guy. Do a gig to 4 people sitting down at a table, which worked okay. I mean, I've definitely done gigs when I was back in the day, man, when you're new. Little open mic gigs to
I'm sure I've done 2 people or
I think
3.
I reckon I've done 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
I think in terms of dynamic, there is definitely a way of doing it which makes it less embarrassing, I suppose, which is to totally strip it back to a conversation. But it's there's no way of getting around the fact that it is not ideal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is.
I think the more people, the better it is. Like, the big, within reason. 50,000 might be a.
Yeah, I think there is a tipping point, but you do need more than 4. Right, here we go. What's this? If you had to live by this is from Mayen, if you had to live by either one of these philosophies for the rest of your life, what would it be? Stoicism or hedonism?
Well, stoicism's like a good way to live, I think. Like the real stoicism in it. Like
stoicism is the one that I try and genuinely live by. That's my day-to-day sort of philosophy.
It's just keeping your head about you, acknowledging your emotions, not acting on them too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not moaning as well. That's my favourite stoic. I don't know who it was. Probably one of them, Epictetus or someone. There's a quote where it's like, never be overheard complaining, not even by yourself.
I like that.
And that idea of not even complaining to yourself, I think, is a big one. Like
it's massive.
It's all well and good.
It would change your life, you know what I mean? If someone acknowledged that, even having that as a goal, like, you're not going to 100% do it, but just having it, being aware of that, and you can catch yourself and slow it down. And then it's like going to the gym for your brain. And then if you do that enough times, you'll end up doing it so much less. It literally would change your whole life.
I catch myself now, the odd occasion I hear myself about to moan. I'm hyper aware of it, and like, you know, there's jokey comedy moaning when you're sort of like, oh fucking, I just did this, and bleh. But I'm talking about,
If you see something
actual,
funny, yeah.
yeah. I'm talking about actual moaning, day to day moaning, like, you know, because it's exhausting to be around somebody who's moaning all the time. Like, it's genuinely one of the most tiring personality traits you can have. Like, and I know a few people that are like
It's
it,
an
and
addiction, though, for
it's
people, some
fucking
people.
so depressing.
Because you can help them with what they're moaning about and thinking, oh, then it'd be solved. But they don't want a solution.
No, they don't.
They don't want an answer. They're
Absolutely.
addicted to moaning because it makes them feel correct, and that's
Yes.
wrong outside.
Yeah.
And it's their ego, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely an addiction.
Yeah.
I know
So
people that just can't stop.
It's
And
brutal,
it's
man.
like fucking
not.
draining.
I mean, let me see. What time are we on? Because we might be. I reckon. I'm going to say we'd have ticked over into this being the Patreon section, and I've got to slightly, you know, be tentative with how loud I say this, but where considering I'm staying at my in-laws, but my father-in-law is like literally like that. It's just you know, he just constantly moans to himself. I hear him moaning to himself in his office, and I'd hear him moan to himself in the kitchen. Like, everything is an issue constantly, and I genuinely, you know, because he's such a nice man on the whole, but it makes me not want. Often I'll just like, I can hear it, and I'm like, I'm not even going to go and speak. Like, I'm just going to go to another room and not acknowledge him. Like, you know, because it's just I ain't got the energy to deal with that. I've got my, you know, I don't want it to get in there and affect me. You know,
I
like
think
to be
people
positive.
do it as well subconsciously. They're actually trying to pull you down
They want, and also
to where they are. And
moaning to yourself audibly, when there's other people in the house, you're doing that because you want them to hear.
You're lowering the vibe big time, and you're pulling people into it. But what I don't know, like, what you can do is just agree with them and moan a little bit, but have your fucking boundary up so it ain't actually affecting you. But just indulge them a bit. I don't. You know what I mean? Satisfy them.
I used to do that, but now I don't. I literally will not. I just won't respond. I've got to a point now where I just sort of, I don't even want to acknowledge it. I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm just gonna not say anything.
Stop fucking moaning.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the next stage.
Yeah. But that will make them even worse moaning.
Well, that's what I mean. Whereas what I'm hoping will
trigger them so hard.
I'm hoping that this slight awkwardness of me not responding whenever it happens and I'm in the room, and
he'll know that you'll teach him that you're not the person that he's going to get satisfied.
Or it's a little quite a stark reminder of what, you know, if you moan to somebody and they don't respond, it makes you hyper aware of what you just said, I think, and you'll 100%, be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want it to be the
empty
lesson.
cup.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, in terms of that question, 100% stoicism.
I think it's that generation as well. They might be a bit less self-analytical. You know, there's good things about that as well. Like, you know, the generation under us are too much in their head, I guess. Too much.
Yeah.
This, that, my feeling, my thought, my instinct. You know what I mean? It's too much.
Yes.
But, you know, there's a balance in there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next one. What's this? It's a repeat question. Did we miss it last time, maybe? From Martin. Now that I'm officially an Aussie, apparently me, who can do this is the one about the Australian accents. We're not doing Australian accents again. We didn't miss this. We did it last time. So
G'day, Martin. Thanks for your question, mate.
Here we go. Who's this? This is actually, this one is about the WhatsApp group. Somebody says, how do you make it's quite interesting. I suppose this is a good one, seeing as we are on the Patreon chunk now. From Jagu says, how do you make a 127 strong WhatsApp group in which the conversation is dominated by a vocal minority of around 10 to 20 members, more inclusive or safer for others to contribute? I think it's
safe though, isn't it?
It is safe. I think it's just that I would, if it wasn't our thing, and I definitely would feel, it's like sort of, when do you join in on a thing, isn't it? It's just, I think it's that self-consciousness that we're talking about before. I don't think
they're they're like, if someone who doesn't speak spoke, I don't think people are.
No,
What, mate?
that's what I mean.
Just
It's
shut
not. It's
them
not.
down.
Yeah, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to shut it down. But I think it is that thing of when you join a WhatsApp group like this, and there's a bunch of people who've known each other and been chatting on it for long enough. It's going to be hard to know a time. But the way to do it is just join in. You'll be fine. Everyone will welcome you in once you start chatting. You'll be good.
It's like any group dynamics in school of 200 kids. There's going to be like a louder group, I guess, isn't there?
But yeah, it's and also if start speaking and you'll find somebody else who might be in your position. It's like, oh, I don't know when to join in. Start a splinter group. There's loads of splinter groups now. That's the point of it. It started loads of little mini communities.
Yeah, could have one for introverts. Yeah. And there's just no messages in there. Just everyone just looks at it.
What's this one? Somebody says if half, this is just quite bleak, if half your face was recently disfigured and you were on the run, how would you disguise your injury? That's weird.
Sounds like someone needs advice quick.
Well, it does say asking for a friend, but like, how would you disguise your injury?
I don't know, you could wear a COVID mask.
I think, yeah. I mean, that has opened up that as an option. I still see people wearing masks out and about and on transport and stuff.
It's helped the gangs of London out, like the little postcode gangs with their masks on. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I would say that's a good one. Wearing bloody N95, whatever they were. Do you remember them ones?
Yeah. Get one of them ones, man.
Gareth asks, "Who's the most famous person you've shaken hands with?"
I shook hands with David Hasselhoff. He's a big guy, isn't he?
He's famous. That's Knight Rider, mate. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I actually didn't acknowledge it was him. We were speaking about something else, weirdly. We're outside this meeting we were both going.
Oh, yeah.
And the meeting was shut because it was a bank holiday. And me and him were looking through the book. And as I'm holding the book and we're both looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this is David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
And then he was like, just really friendly and fine, a little bit shaken up, actually. It looked a bit worse for wear.
Yeah.
I don't know, Robbie Williams, Lennox Lewis.
That's pretty good.
Jason Statham.
Oh, yeah. When was that?
Kelly Brook. That was in like probably 1998 when they were together.
Yeah.
I pretended to him I was a boxer and he stood up at the time. We're sitting at a table and he stood up to shake my hand out of respect.
That's funny.
Because he was a boxer years ago. He did a bit, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's got to be someone else.
They're pretty good ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Mine would all be...
Damon Albarn I did, but you've met him, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, mine would all be music related. Like Damon Albarn a bunch of times. Paul Simonon from The Clash I've met a few times.
Sean Ryder, but I didn't shake his hand. I just met him, but he had his head in the table. He was just fucked out of his mind.
Yeah. I've met Maceo from De La Soul. I had shared a weed vape with him. Yeah, I've had a few ones like that were pretty good. I'm trying to think. Yeah, but I'm trying to think acting wise. Dominic West from The Wire, I've met. McNulty, he's really cool. I hung out with him in Edinburgh one time.
English guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he went to Eton, mate. He's a posh boy.
Yeah,
but, very good actor. But yeah, I met him twice in Edinburgh one year when he was up there. Because his mate was doing a play, and he's cool as fuck, man. He's like
J.K. Rowling was up in Edinburgh going to people's shows once, wasn't she?
Well, she's from there, isn't she? Don't she live up there?
Oh yeah, she wrote the book there, didn't she? The books. But imagine she was just rocked up at your show.
Yeah, she's pretty famous, isn't she?
I remember. So I read a tweet a while ago. It says, "I think jury duty's mad. Like, anybody can." Like go up for jury service. Like imagine you're on trial, you look over, Beyonce's in the jury.
That's true. Let's have this question. I like this. If you could have any bit of original art in your house just for your own enjoyment and you can't sell it, what would it be? Oh,
I'd like that Da Vinci's Jesus. I forget what it's called. I've got it on my wall, but the original. It's the most expensive Da Vinci's. I'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm going to see the Mona Lisa next week, actually.
I've seen the Mona Lisa. It's quite underwhelming. Oh, he's got his headphones off. Sorry, he missed my my art review of the Mona Lisa. Let's have a look.
This one.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice one.
Hi.
Yeah, what would mine be? I'm trying to think. Mine would be a bit more wanky, I think.
This is the most expensive painting in the world. 450 million it sold for.
Is that true? Has it not been beat? Has it not been beaten since?
I don't know. It might have done. At Christie's, it went for 430 million or something.
Most expensive painting. Let's have a look. So I thought, no, the Mona Lisa is now the most expensive.
Oh,
970 million.
Oh,
hang on. Yeah.
I won't be buying that. I think I'm not going to buy that this year. Paris was expensive enough, mate.
Salvador Raimondi. Yeah, that one is yours. That was 450 million, but now the Mona Lisa is valued at 970 million.
Fucking hell. That's got to be the most famous painting in the world, isn't it? The Mona Lisa.
Yes. It's an interesting list of the ones that are like the other ones after that. They're not ones I would have expected. Like, is your window open? I can hear some things going down.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll share thing. Hold on. How do we share? Because you'd be surprised at the what they are. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. So number one, here we go. Mona Lisa, 750 million. 970, sorry. Your one, the Salvatore Mundi, 450 million. Number three is Interchange by William de Kooning, 300 million. Number four is The Card Players by Cezanne, 250 million. It's owned by the state of Qatar. This is a Gauguin, is 210 million. That's Jackson Pollock, 200 million. Gustav Klimt, this is the one I've got on my bedroom wall at home back in London, 183 million. I've got the actual original. I didn't realise that was the list. Hang on, where do I get? How do I stop sharing? Hello, what's happened here?
That's some serious wedge, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? That's so much money. I do like a bit of Gustav Klimt, even though he's a bit of a wrong un. I really like some of his, like his Tree of Life is one of my favourite paintings. So I'd probably go for something like that.
I reckon they're all wrong uns back then, ain't they?
I mean, there are, yeah. There's
Isaac Newton died a virgin, didn't he? Interestingly.
Did he?
Yeah, apparently.
Really takes the edge off all his great discoveries.
I know. Without him, we wouldn't have gravity.
I know, but you think he should have spent a bit more time
We'd
discovering...
all be floating around.
should have tried to discover some puss. But here we go.
Discover some riz to get women.
Oh, God. Oh, shit, what have I done here? Who would you be prepared to shake hands with at a urinal? I suppose somebody's answered the question about most famous person you've shaken hands with. Who's the most famous person that you would shake hands with at a urinal, even if they'd just done a piss? Somebody said Paul McCartney, which actually I think is a good shout.
Paul McCartney, man, yeah.
I think he
gets a bit of a hard time. I used to think he was a bit of boring and that. He's arguably just the most talented musician on the planet we've ever known.
I think, yeah. I mean,
him or MJ, maybe.
I definitely think the tables have slightly turned. I think for up until that documentary Get Back came out, I even fell into the camp still of thinking he was a little bit of a melt. Secretly, I loved his music. I thought he's a genius. But as a person, I don't think I ever really spent like any time looking at him as a person or
I
watching any
know.
interviews. And actually, when you see him in Get Back, he's just brilliant. Like he's really just watching him create stuff is so amazing. And I've seen him in stuff since. I watched a bit of the interview that he did with Rick Rubin, the music producer.
Oh
And it's
yeah, that Rick
really,
Rubin's an interesting guy as
he's
well.
cool, man. Like, and it's and yeah, it's great. And Paul McCartney just sounds great, and like he just comes across so well that I've
He
totally
did one with Bob Mortimer recently, didn't he? That keeps
Did
popping
he?
up. Yeah, it's a good
I'll have a look.
interview.
But yeah, I think I've come. I think I would absolutely. I'd shake his hand if he had shit on it, mate.
I prefer that.
Uh,
I'll put it there.
Let's have a look. Let's quickly get through a couple more before we start wrapping up. Katie says, "Have you ever planned a big surprise for somebody? Had a surprise plan for yourself? Oh, have you ever planned a surprise or had one done for yourself? It's my husband's 40th, and he thinks I haven't got anything sorted. When really, I've got friends and family traveling over for the day to go out for a meal and drinks.
Oh, that'd be a nice for him, I bet.
That is nice. I've been on the receiving end of a surprise party once. I've organised stuff for people, but never a surprise party. I don't think. No,
I don't know if I have or not.
I
don't think so.
It's pretty wild having a surprise birthday party. On my 30th was a surprise, and basically my ex just went like she's planned. She told me like we had this plan. We were going to go for drinks and go to this. I think we were going to go see a show or something, and then the show was in the West End, and then she said, "Oh, why don't we go to the Nell Gwyn for a drink?" Beforehand, she knew it's like one of my old favourite pubs from when I used to work over the road from it. And we walked in, and there was just loads of my mates there, and more people came. It's such a weird experience to like just totally just get caught off guard. But it was very nice.
That's weird. I don't think I've ever had that. No.
It was cool.
I surprised the kids years ago. I got
really munted and started on someone.
Start frying hands.
I almost did, man. I was just pissed. I think what happened is I got really munted, and me and my then wife had a bit of a Barney, and it was in my, you know, and then you sort of calm it down, it's all fine, but in your head you're still a bit like fucking, you're just in a bit of a stressed state.
Yeah.
I just took it out on some bloke at the bar, man. Poor guy.
You can't
didn't mean
hit
anything.
her, so you just punch the smallest man in the pub.
The most twee. This guy was a div though, man. But like, I took it out on him so hard, like I laid into him, like not physically, like it didn't get to that luckily, but like I was so rude to him. Like I look back and I was such a different person. But I just like it was they were closing time. The bell went for like last orders, and this guy was standing at the bar, and he obviously was friends with the barmaid because he'd been sort of chatting to her most of the night, and he was still there. And they rang last orders, and after about a minute, he came over to the table and went, "Sorry guys, can you drink up?" And I just went, "Do you work here?" And he went, "Nah." And I went, "Well, why are you telling me to drink up?" And he goes, I'm friends with the bar staff. I just thought I'd help them out. And I went, "Well, I'm friends with the manager, mate. I'm not going around telling people to fucking finish their drinks, am I?" I don't know why I just got so shitty. And then
that's annoying, though.
It's a bit annoying, and he just kept trying. He kept trying to sort of backtrack and be like, "Oh no, I wasn't." And I just kept going, "No, mate, who do you think you fucking are? Coming over and telling me to finish my drink when you don't even work it." And my head went, and like I just started having a go at him. And then he walked away and went back to the bar all sheepish. And I swear to God, it was like fucking. My head went. I was just like my ex was talking to me saying, "Well, what's wrong with you?" Chris Martin was there, and he started going, "Mate, are you all right? Like, why'd you just let it go?" And I just wasn't listening to a word they were saying. I was just in my head just thinking about that guy. And then I just stood up, man. I went over to him at the bar and I just got right up in his face. And I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are coming and telling me to finish my drink?"
That's alcoholic,
oh, mate. I was such a wanker. I don't know what happened. I was just in a bad mood. My relationship was going through a rough time. And I just took
At least you've learned from, you know what I mean? That's not how you want to behave, is it?
100%, no.
And, some people go through their whole life just behaving like that. And
man.
The thing that stops them is they get fucking slept in the street. They're Z'd off, man. And on fucking World Star. Little duvet.
Yeah, man. But
I
but anyway.
surprised our children once with 2 puppies on Christmas Day, which was amazing. Yeah.
I mean,
that was really
surprising your kids and kid. It is just that's the best.
2 little puppies like that. It just
so
blew
exciting.
their mind off.
Yeah. All right, let's do what we doing. A couple more minutes because I've got to go to Betty Buys. This is from James. Do you think comedy clubs, especially for new material nights or work in progress, should ban phones at gigs so half-baked material doesn't get leaked? They said when he was at the Comedy Cellar, you had to put your phone on silent, then in a sealed envelope.
I think Dave Chappelle started that, didn't he, on his tour shows? I think that's a really good idea, not just for the leakage, but for the focus of the audience.
Yeah.
And it'd be better experience for the audience if they, like Quentin Tarantino won't let any mobile phones or any devices of any kind on set.
Right,
So in between takes, they're all talking to each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they'll have a way better experience, man.
I do think there's something needs to be done.
I wish they banned the Axe phones as well, so I'm not fucking on my phone either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's I mean, I think putting them in I think it'd be hard to roll out putting them in a thing across the board. It's a cost on the clubs to implement
especially on a little new material night where people are hot. You know what I mean?
But I do think there should just be a blanket ban of like, if you check your phone during and just wait till the interval, it's going to be 40 minutes.
There might be a way of making the room so you get no reception.
Yeah.
Oh, but top secret is probably that, isn't it?
The problem is people always go for that argument of what if there's an emergency and I
Yeah.
But how many times has that ever happened? Like 99.999 recurring times. It's just people checking
maybe don't
their
go
phone.
to a comedy club if you're waiting for a fucking cancer result.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it's always just people checking their phone, taking a photo, recording. You know, it's none of the things that you think.
I think them looking at their phones is probably that'd be the best thing. Them having a better time. They'll have to talk to people. They'll have to look around and just be present.
I know. I agree. I think that it needs to be just like I went to see. I mean, and it is not to be rude, mate. It's not hard. You know what I mean? Like I went to see a play last night that was 2.5 hours long. I didn't look at my phone once. You know what I mean? It didn't even cross my mind to look at it because I was watching a thing. If I go to the cinema, my phone don't come out of my pocket. Like I get if you're sat at home watching Netflix, the temptation is there. But like if you're watching a fucking thing on a stage, just don't look at your phone. It's not. I don't understand why people think it's hard. It shows a lack of willpower that is beyond. That it's just worrying, isn't it?
Definitely.
Martin says, listen, this is just a comment. Listen to a Guardian podcast. Apparently the vast majority of porn that women watch is lesbian porn. Just leaving that here. Have a nice day. It's a nice thought. Cheers, mate.
How does he know?
Yeah. Well, it was on the podcast, I suppose. But that's interesting. I suppose I was thinking this the other day as a potential idea for, when you come up with a bit of an idea for a bit, but then you're like, that'd be a hard one to get across. It was about how, do you remember like, I'm going to say 20 years ago, 15 years ago, like lesbian porn always looked like two people who are clearly not lesbians, but they were sort of the male ideal of what they wish a lesbian would be like, and the reality was not. I'm not saying all lesbians weren't. All lesbians were just like butch, bloody waistcoat wearing sort of types. But I do think overall that basically what I was trying to think of the other day was you do see a lot more just like two very like attractive, like feminine, like gay women nowadays, way more across the board than you used to. Like the gap between what lesbian porn shows and reality has got way smaller, hasn't it?
Maybe because people are a bit more free now, and it's a bit more.
That's what I think it is. I don't think people are as
never
pigeonholed.
been freer. Yeah.
People like in the old days. I do think it almost drove people to fit in with the community more. Whereas now you can just be a lesbian and just look how you like.
You ain't
You're not
got
going
to
to be
be
called a lipstick lesbian. I used to get regarded as
Oh yeah.
back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? I do think now it's really opened it up to
I'm gonna watch some porn as soon as we finish.
Gonna go do some
got me-
research.
It's got me horny, man.
I'm gonna look into this actually. This stat. Let me check the stat out online. Right, let's check. I think that's enough. That's loads of questions. But let's we'll call it. We'll wrap it up. It's been fun. I'm tired, man. It's quarter to midnight. This is beyond past my bedtimes.
Cool, man. Have a good kip.
Yeah, I will. And we'll be back next week with a guest.
Nice.
And thanks, patrons. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
for your
patrons.
questions.
We love you for your
We love
support.
you. Yes. And yeah, don't be afraid of the WhatsApp group. If you're in the WhatsApp group, just engage.
Pipe up.
Pipe
Just
up.
introduce yourself.
I'd say that would be the thing. If anyone
if
is
you want to.
floating in the background and wants to be more engaged, and all the people that are regulars, if anyone just wants to, just say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I've been here for a while. I've been a bit scared to join in. And everyone will welcome you in. They're nice. And yeah, there's a bit of chatty banter going on with bloody Martin, and he's getting in there. But
he's porn.
He's very nice, Martin. I've met him in real life.
He's a wholesome guy.
He's a lovely man. And
not that he comes across bad anyway. Like,
no, he doesn't at all.
Yeah.
It's all
taking a notice of his posts.
Yeah, no, he's really not like he is that. It comes across in the WhatsApp. No, so yeah, it's all.
We'll do another get together soon as well.
Yeah, let's do it. All right,
it's fun things.